The fall. The sky was red with fire, smoke filled the air, and buildings were falling one by one. Kayla ran through the broken streets, her small feet covered in dust and blood. She looked back once. Her city was gone. Her people were gone. Her world had ended. She had trusted them. She had followed orders, done her duty, believed in the cause. But when the enemy ships arrived, her leaders ran. They saved themselves and left her behind. Now she was running from everything, from fire, from fear, from betrayal. Explosions shook the ground as she ran toward the outer wall. She thought she could escape, maybe hide in the forest beyond the city. But as she reached the wall, cold metal wrapped around her arms. A stun blast hit her back, and everything went dark. When Kayla woke up, she was inside a dark cage, metal bars, cold floor, no food, no light. The air smelled like oil and sweat. Other cages surrounded her, filled with prisoners like her. Captured soldiers, civilians, and slaves. No one spoke. Everyone looked broken. A voice echoed from the speaker above. It was not her language, but she understood the tone. Control, command, cruelty. Guards with thick armor walked by, laughing, kicking cages. They called her property now. She was no longer a person. Days passed, maybe weeks. Time did not matter here. She grew thin, weak, and silent. Hope faded like the light in her eyes. One night, the guards brought in a new prisoner. He was tall, strong, and covered in dirt and blood. His face was hard, his eyes cold. He was thrown into the cage next to Kayla's. The guards looked afraid of him. They called him the Beast. But he just sat there, silent. He was human. Kayla had heard about humans, simple creatures, backward, violent, not respected by the galactic empire, used only as fighters or slaves. But this one was different. He didn't beg, didn't scream, didn't cry. He just waited. She watched him. For many nights he didn't speak. He sat with his back against the wall, arms crossed, eyes half closed. Guards didn't come near his cage. They feared him, even though he was alone. One evening, a guard walked close to her cage. He threw a piece of food at her, then took it back and laughed. Kayla turned away. Then the guard opened the cage and grabbed her arm. She struggled, but she was too weak. The guard pulled her out and raised his hand to hit her. But before he could, a voice spoke from the next cage. Let her go. The guard froze. It was the human. The guard laughed and stepped toward his cage. You talk now, beast, he said. You want to die? The human stood up slowly. He stepped into the light. Eyes sharp, face calm. I said, he repeated. Let her go. The guard raised his weapon and fired. The blast hit the cage. Sparks flew, but the human didn't move. He just stared. Something about his eyes made the guard stop. He pushed Kayla back inside her cage and walked away, grumbling. Kayla looked at the human. Why? She asked, her voice weak. Why help me? The human looked at her. You're still alive, he said. That's reason enough. From that day, Kayla watched him even more. He was calm, quiet, and careful. He noticed everything. When the guards changed shifts, when they turned off the lights, when the food came, she started to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time, hope. One night she saw something strange while pretending to sleep. The human slowly moved his hands. The chains on his wrists were open, not broken. Unlocked. He had the keys. She gasped quietly. He looked at her from the shadows. His voice was a whisper. Don't scream, he said. I've been waiting. Kayla stared at him. For what? She asked. He leaned closer to the bars. For the right time, he whispered. Then he smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had a plan. The beast who listens. The night was silent, but not peaceful. It was the kind of silence that felt heavy, like something terrible was about to happen. Kayla sat in her cage, eyes open, watching the shadows move across the walls. She couldn't sleep. Not after what she saw. The human had unlocked his chains, but still sat there, pretending to be trapped. Why was he waiting? He could break out, fight the guards, escape, but he didn't. Instead, he waited, like a hunter watching his prey. It scared her, but it also gave her something she thought she had lost forever, a reason to stay alive. The guards didn't know. They still thought the human was just another broken prisoner. But Kayla knew better now. There was a storm hiding behind those calm eyes. The next day, everything felt tense. The guards shouted more, beat the prisoners harder. Maybe they sensed something was wrong. Maybe they felt fear. but didn't know why. Kayla stayed quiet. She watched the human, who now had a name. She didn't know his real name, but the others called him the Beast. He never corrected them. That evening, a new prisoner was thrown into the cage across from hers. He was badly injured, his face swollen. The guards laughed, saying, "This is what happens when you resist." Kayla looked away, but the Beast didn't. He stared at the man, eyes sharp, breathing slow. Later, after the guards lay, "Ft," he asked the injured man a question. "How many guards at the gate now?" Kayla turned toward him, surprised. He hadn't spoken in days. The man coughed and answered, 7 during the day, 10 at night." The Beast nodded slowly. "Still the same patrol routes?" "Yes," the man said, "but they scan every hour now, ever since Sector 9 escaped." The Beast whispered something under his breath, like he was solving a puzzle. Kayla realized something then. This wasn't just a man waiting to escape. This was a soldier, building a plan piece by piece. That night, Kayla couldn't stay silent anymore. She leaned closer to the bars. "You're planning something," she said quietly. "You've been planning all along." The Beast looked at her, then nodded once. "Yes." "Why?" she asked. "No one escapes this place, not alive." "I will," he said simply. "And now, you will too." Kayla felt her heart jump. She had dreamed of escape but never believed it could be real. Now this stranger, this dangerous, quiet human, was offering her something impossible. Freedom. Later that night, a guard walked toward her cage again. The same one from before. The one who liked to hurt people. He opened her cage and pulled her out roughly. "You think you're special now?" he growled. "You think the Beast will protect you again?" Kayla struggled, but he slapped her hard. She fell to the ground, dizzy. Then, suddenly, the air changed. There was a sound, metal snapping, something heavy falling, and then silence. Kayla turned her head. The guard was on the ground, unmoving. The human stood above him, one broken chain still in his hand like a weapon. He had moved faster than anyone she had ever seen. The other guards shouted. Alarms started to ring. Red lights flashed. "You shouldn't have touched her," the human said coldly. Then he turned to Kayla. "Now we run." Chaos exploded in the prison. Guards ran toward the scene. Prisoners screamed. Red lights blinked like warning signs from the sky. The Beast picked up the guard's access card, opened Kayla's cage, and pulled her up. "Stay close," he said. "Don't stop for anything." Together they ran through the corridors, dodging lasers and sirens. He knew the way. Every hallway, every blind spot, every security code. Kayla didn't ask how he knew so much. She just followed. They passed other cages, and some prisoners reached out crying for help. The Beast paused only once, opened one cage and said, "Only if you can run." Some followed. Most stayed behind, too afraid to hope. They reached the outer gate, locked, sealed, guarded. Kayla's breath shook. "How will we get past that?" she asked. The Beast looked at her, calm as always. "I'm not here to run," he said. "I'm here to burn it down." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device. It blinked once, twice, then turned blue. Kayla didn't know what it was, but the human smiled. "Signal sent," he said. "My people are coming." Suddenly from above, a loud roar echoed in the sky. Kayla looked up and saw something breaking through the cloud. Fast, powerful, deadly. A human dropship. The guards screamed and scattered. The Beast looked at Kayla. "Welcome to the war," he said. Hope is a weapon. Smoke filled the air. Sirens screamed from every tower of the prison fortress. Red lights flashed like fireflies in a storm, but inside the chaos, Kayla felt something strange. She felt alive. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't waiting to die. She was running, thinking, breathing, following the human whose name she still didn't know. And that terrified her. Not the danger, not the guards, but the feeling that maybe, just maybe, there was still hope. The Beast moved like a machine, fast, focused, fearless. He never looked back, even as guards shouted and guns fired behind them. Kayla followed every step, every signal he gave. A nod, a hand wave, a whisper. She couldn't afford to doubt him now. They passed a shattered hallway filled with broken cameras and sparks. Kayla saw bodies, Not guards, but soldiers. Not aliens, but humans. Dead, cold, forgotten. The beast stopped, knelt beside one of them, and took something from his belt, a black box with wires and a glowing red core. He handed it to Kayla. "Hold this," he said. "What is it?" she asked. "Proof that we're not finished." They reached the lower sector, a part of the prison Kayla had never seen. The walls were thicker, darker, marked with strange human symbols. "This used to be ours," the beast said, before they turned it into a cage. He stopped near a metal door and connected the box. A soft hum began. Power flowed through the walls. The door opened. Inside was a room filled with old tech, maps, weapons, and a dusty human flag on the wall. Kayla stepped inside, stunned. "You built all this?" she asked. "We lost it," he replied, "but we're taking it back." He handed her a small wristband, a translator, a tracker, and a comm unit, then looked at her seriously. "I need to ask you something," he said. She nodded. "If I fall, you keep running." Kayla's eyes narrowed. "I didn't survive all this just to run away." The beast paused, then gave a small smile. "Good," he said. "Then we fight together." They moved again, deeper into the base. Kayla realized the human wasn't just trying to escape. He was building something, planning something bigger than just survival, a rebellion, and she was now part of it. They reached the command vault, locked behind ancient blast doors. The beast placed his palm on the scanner, and the system beeped once, then turned green. Kayla looked at him in shock. "You have him? The access?" He nodded. "I'm not just a prisoner," he said. "I'm the reason they fear humans." Inside the vault was what he had come for, a beacon transmitter hidden for years. He powered it up, then looked at Kayla. "This is the only working human distress beacon left in this sector," he said. "When it lights up, others will come. Soldiers, fighters, anyone still out there." "And if no one comes?" she asked. He stared at the beacon, voice steady. "Then we fight alone." Suddenly the floor shook. An explosion rocked the wall. The enemy had found them. "Time's up," he said. Kayla grabbed a plasma rifle from the wall, unsure how to even hold it. The beast looked at her, then adjusted her grip. "Keep your back to the wall," he said. "Breathe, aim, fire." "How many are coming?" she asked. "Too many," he answered. The doors burst open and chaos returned. Blaster fire lit the room. Kayla ducked behind cover, heart pounding, ears ringing. The beast fought like a ghost, moving through shadows, striking fast, never stopping. He didn't fight like someone trying to live. He fought like someone who had already died, and came back angry. Kayla fired her first shot and missed. Then the second. It hit. She didn't know if she was brave or just desperate, but she was still standing, and that mattered. The beacon lit up, blue and strong, a signal now flying through space, calling every human cell in the galaxy, but they had to hold the room until backup came. If backup came, Kayla took cover beside the beast, her hands shaking. "They're not stopping," she said. "They won't," he replied. "That's why we don't either." Suddenly the enemy sent in a shock trooper. A massive alien, armored like a tank. Kayla froze. The beast stood, grabbed a grenade, and looked back at her. "Cover me," he said. He ran toward the trooper, full speed. Kayla screamed, firing wildly, drawing fire away from him. The trooper raised its weapon. "Too slow." The beast jumped. Ped shoved the grenade under the armor and dove back. Boom! The blast lit up the entire hallway. When the smoke cleared, the trooper was gone, and the beast lay still on the floor. "No," Kayla whispered, crawling toward him. "Don't you dare die now." The beast opened one eye, coughed, and said, "That's why I told you to run." Then he grinned. "But you didn't." She smiled back, tears in her eyes. "Hope is a weapon," she said. He nodded. "And now we've loaded the first bullet. Run with me." The beacon still glowed blue. Its light pulsed like a heartbeat, strong, steady, refusing to die. But outside the vault, death waited in numbers. More enemy soldiers were coming. Kayla heard their footsteps in the distance, the heavy boots of those who did not come to capture. They came to finish what they started. The beast leaned against the wall, his body bruised, blood on his forehead. He wasn't broken, but even he had limits. Kayla held her rifle tight, breathing fast, her fingers trembling but ready. He looked at her and asked one word. "Ready?" She didn't answer with words. She just nodded. They moved fast through the old tunnels under the prison. The beast had memorized the layout. He had studied the weak spots, the cracks in the system no one noticed. except a human with nothing to lose. Kayla followed closely, stepping where he stepped, ducking when he ducked. The alarms above them kept screaming, but down here, only silence. Then they heard it. Not guards, not soldiers, something worse. Hunters, special alien assassins, bred for one thing, track and kill. They've released the Sith Tal, the beast whispered. Kayla's skin went cold. She had heard legends, not stories, warnings. No one who saw the Sith Tal ever told the tale because none survived. But now they were behind her, hunting her scent, her fear, her hope. The tunnels got tighter, darker. They reached a metal hatch, half buried in rubble. The beast pushed it open and helped Kayla through first. They came out in an old maintenance yard outside the main wall. Freedom was close now. She could smell the clean air, feel the wind that didn't stink of oil and blood. But they weren't alone. Two black shadows dropped silently from the walls above them. Their eyes glowed green, their blades curved like poison. Sith Tal. Kayla froze, breath trapped in her throat. The beast didn't. He threw a smoke bomb, grabbed Kayla, and ran into the scrap piles. The fog gave them seconds, maybe less, but seconds were life and death now. Behind the piles they hid. Kayla whispered, "We can't fight those things." The beast whispered back, "We don't fight. We outsmart." He placed a charge on a fuel tank buried in the yard, then used a metal rod to lure the Sith Tal closer, tapping it like bait. The creatures moved with terrifying silence, like shadows chasing shadows. Kayla covered her mouth as they passed inches from her. She wanted to scream, but the beast gave her a look. Calm, focused, unshaken. When the creatures were close enough, boom! The blast tore through the scrapyard, flames shooting into the sky. The creatures vanished in the fire. Maybe not dead, but slowed. It was enough. They ran toward the mountain edge where the dropship signal had pinged last. Every step was harder. Kayla's legs burned, lungs ached, but she kept moving. Then she heard a sound in the sky, a low rumble getting louder. She looked up and saw it. A human dropship. Black, scarred, beautiful. Flying straight toward them through the clouds. Kayla smiled for the first time in days. But then the smile faded. A missile launched from the prison tower, heading straight for the dropship. "No!" she shouted. The beast grabbed a shoulder cannon. From the ground, aimed without thinking, and fired. The missile exploded midair, but the force hit the ship, knocking it sideways. It crashed hard into the ground nearby, sliding, burning, but still intact. "Come on," he said, pulling her arm. "This is our ride." They reached the dropship. The back hatch was open, smoke pouring out. Inside, one human pilot was alive, coughing, holding his side. "About time," he groaned at the beast. "Thought you died again." "Almost," the beast replied, lifting Kayla inside. "Get her out of here." Kayla froze. "What do you mean?" she asked. "You're coming too." He looked at the burning prison, then at her. "There are still others in there," he said. "Ones who never had a chance." Kayla shook her head. "You won't make it back in." "I have to try," he said. "Hope is a weapon, remember? And I just gave it to you." He turned to go, but Kayla grabbed his wrist. "You gave me more than hope," she whispered. "You gave me a reason to fight." He nodded once, eyes locked with hers, then ran back into the smoke. Kayla sat in the ship, heart pounding, watching the fire swallow him. The engines roared to life. She looked at the pilot. "Wait," she said. "Circle back after pickup." He raised an eyebrow. "You think he'll survive?" She looked at the flames. "He's not like the rest of us," she said. "He's human. Allies in shadows." The dropship flew low, its engines struggling, its hull cracked. Kayla sat in silence, staring out of the broken window. The stars above looked cold, distant, uncaring. Below, fire still burned where the prison once stood. He had gone back alone, and now she didn't know if he was alive or just another name the galaxy would forget. But she wouldn't forget. She touched the rifle he gave her, still carrying his blood on the grip. "Why would a human do this?" she whispered. "Why would anyone fight so hard for someone like me?" The pilot glanced at her, his voice rough. "You haven't been told much about humans, have you?" Kayla shook her head. "All I was taught. Said your kind were violent, emotional, untrustworthy." The pilot gave a bitter laugh. "That's what they always say. right before they lose. They reached a hidden canyon, covered by thick fog and mountains. The dropship descended into a narrow crack in the rocks. A hidden base, invisible to scanners. Old tech powered the doors, with markings Kayla had never seen before. Inside, humans waited, tired, scarred, and angry. But when they saw Kayla step out, they didn't point weapons. They just stared, surprised, maybe confused, a non-human. Standing where only humans had bled. One soldier stepped forward, an older woman with metal arms and a sharp voice. "Who is she?" "She's with him," the pilot said. "Then she's with us," the woman replied. They took Kayla deep into the base. Through old tunnels filled with human history, she saw walls covered in lost battles, victories no one spoke of, names of the fallen. She stopped at one wall, where the beast's name was scratched, not in stone but carved by hand, not decorated but deep, like someone wanted to remember the pain. She turned to the soldier. "What is this place?" "This," the woman said, "is what's left of those who refuse," said to Neil. Inside the command chamber, Kayla learned the truth, the real truth. Long ago, the humans weren't part of the Galactic Council. They were offered a seat and refused. The Council didn't like that, so they declared humans as unstable, primitive, and dangerous. Then they began the purges. Whole colonies were wiped out, cities burned, survivors scattered but not broken. Some humans hid in shadows, built new tech, new networks, new soldiers. They became ghosts, striking fast, vanishing faster, and now the beast was one of their best. A man without rank, without orders, but with a mission. He wasn't sent to that prison, the woman said. He chose to go. Kayla's eyes widened. He chose it? To find someone, she said, or to remind himself why we still fight. Suddenly alarms echoed through the base. A signal came through. A short video feed, broken, filled with static. It was him. The beast stood in fire, holding a plasma blade, blood on his chest. He wasn't speaking. He was surrounded. Kayla stepped forward. "Is it live?" "Yes," the pilot said, "but not for long." They watched in silence. The feed glitched, burned, then vanished. The room was quiet until Kayla spoke. "We go back." The woman turned, surprised. "That place is swarming with death," she said. "There's no plan, no backup." "There's me," Kayla replied, "and there's him." The woman studied her, then gave a small nod. "Then you'll need allies," she said. "Even in shadows, fire finds fire." Later that night, Kayla stood outside under the stars, her new armor fitted, her rifle recharged. She wasn't the same girl who had run from a burning city. She was something else now, a weapon. From the shadows behind her, a voice spoke. "You're ready now." She turned sharply, but no one was there, only a single message blinking on her comm device. Running was never the plan. She smiled. He was alive. The betrayer's return. The base was quiet now, too quiet. Kayla stood at the edge of a cliff above the canyon, wind tearing through her new armor, her eyes locked on the horizon. Where fire had once swallowed her world, she was ready to go back, but fate came to her first. Behind her, a scout ship landed, black, smooth, and marked with the sigil of her homeworld, the same one that left her behind, that betrayed her. 3 figures stepped out, dressed in clean robes, with voices soft like diplomats, but eyes sharp like knives. She knew them. Commander Virik, Advisor Nea, and Loran, her former brother by oath, the people she would have died for. "Kayla," Virik said with a fake smile, "you're alive, by some miracle." She didn't move, didn't blink. "You left me," she said calmly. "You ordered my name removed from the records." "We thought you were dead," Nea lied. "Even if you had lived, you were compromised." Kayla stepped closer, hand near her rifle. "You mean I saw the truth?" Loran stepped forward, his voice low. "You're walking with humans now. The enemy." "No," Kayla replied. "They're not the enemy. You are." The tension snapped. Soldiers hidden in their ship pointed weapons at her, but from the shadows the humans appeared too. Rifles raised, silent and steady. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Virik smirked. "You think these creatures can protect you?" he asked. "They are scattered, dying, desperate." "Maybe," Kayla said, But they didn't throw me away, Naya. His voice turned cold. You're coming with us, or we brand you a traitor, Kayla smiled. Already done. Suddenly the human commander stepped forward, the woman with metal arms, her voice like fire. You have 10 seconds to leave our airspace, she said, or we turn your pretty ship into scrap. Virik narrowed his eyes. Is that a threat? No, the commander said. It's a promise. Kayla added, and we keep our promises. The enemy ship lifted, but not in retreat. Moments later, an orbital signal lit up on the base's radar. They had sent a message to the council. Kayla was now marked as a defector, and the base had been exposed. They had hours, maybe less. The humans didn't panic. They prepared. Inside the war room, Kayla stood with the beast again, burned, bleeding, but alive. He didn't smile, but his presence alone felt like a victory. You're back, she said. You didn't run. I said we fight, he replied. And we're not done. Kayla placed a small data chip on the table. It's from them. Everything they're planning. The beast plugged it in. Schematics appeared, maps, strike teams, orbital bombardment orders. They're not just coming for us, he said. They're coming to erase every memory of resistance. And then he looked at her. Your people betrayed you. Now they're using you to destroy us. She nodded. I know. So why help us? He asked. Why stay? Kayla stepped forward. They burned my home, then left me to die. But humans, you gave me something else. He tilted his head. What? She looked him in the eyes. Belonging. In that moment, the room shifted. No longer human and alien, just soldiers, fighters, survivors. A plan began. Fast, smart, dangerous. They would not wait for death. They would strike first. Kayla stood on the loading ramp of the strike ship, rifle ready, eyes clear, her past behind her, her mission ahead, and beside her, the human who defied everything. You trust me now? He asked. She smiled. I believe in you. One human, one choice. The stars above were silent, but war was coming. Kayla stood on the strike cruiser's deck, armored and ready. The glow of her rifle matched the fire in her eyes. Around her, humans moved like clockwork, calm, focused, deadly. They were not many, but they were enough. Below them floated the council command ship, massive, elegant, and full of people who thought the war was already won. They had no idea what was coming. The beast stood beside her. Burned armor, bandaged hands, eyes full of something no scanner could measure. Conviction. She looked at him. This is suicide, she said. He nodded. Maybe, she smirked. But that never stopped you before. Exactly, he replied. Their plan was madness. But sometimes, madness was all that worked. A small team would breach the enemy's command ship, plant a viral code, and shut down their systems for 7 minutes. Just long enough for the other human cells, the ones still hiding, to strike together, but only if they succeeded. Only if someone made it to the core. The ship shook as they entered the enemy's defense net. Lasers cut across the sky. One hit the side of their hull. Kayla fell but grabbed onto the railing. The beast pulled her up. Stay with me, he said. Always, she replied. They breached the hull. Explosions, smoke, chaos. Inside the command ship, guards screamed and fired. Kayla ducked behind cover, heart pounding. Firing back with everything she had. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose, because most of them didn't. They reached the main core, a glowing chamber of Lig. Heart and sound, Kayla began to upload the virus. But then, the door behind them slammed shut, trapped. The system needed time, 5 more minutes, but backup was already arriving. Kayla turned to the beast. We're surrounded. He looked at the virus countdown, then at her. There's only one way this works, he said. No, she whispered. You're not doing this. He handed her a remote detonator. If they breach this room, hit this. It'll fry the core and the virus will finish. She shook her head, tears in her eyes. But you'll be inside. He stepped closer and said the words that would echo forever. One human, one choice. One galaxy that remembers. He stepped into the main door and locked it behind him. Kayla screamed and slammed her fists on the glass, but he just smiled at her, then turned around to face the incoming wave. Alone. He didn't scream, he didn't hesitate, He fought with everything left inside him, until the timer hit 0, and then Kayla pressed the detonator. White light filled the chamber. Silence followed, and then power died across the entire enemy fleet. 7 minutes of darkness, and in that darkness, the humans rose. Every resistance cell attacked at once. Every hidden fleet decloaked. Every buried hope came back to life. The Empire had fallen, not by armies, but by a single man who made a choice. Later, on a quiet world, Kayla stood before a statue. It showed him, the beast, standing tall, one hand open, below it carved in every known language. He gave no speeches, wore no crown, but his choice lit the fire that burned down the stars. She stood silently, not crying, just remembering. Then she whispered, "I didn't run, I stayed, just like you asked." And in the wind, she thought she heard him say, "I knew you would, the end."